Welcome to Breakfast Food, the weekly themed comedy podcast featuring feel-good stories, stupid anecdotes, and advice you didn't even know you wanted. From me, Annabel Logan.
And me, Cara McKinley.
I just started giggling there because I was like, weekly. I
know. When I was thinking, who's doing the intro this morning, I thought about the words and I was like, weekly.
Oh, well.
What a cheek we have.
In our heads. Sure. Weekly it is.
Weekly enough. Hey, we've had a time. We apologise for missing 1 week or 2 weeks. We missed
2 weeks?
Yeah, we missed 2 weeks. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
It's been hectic for the both of us.
Yeah, it has been. It's been quite a ride, and we're still going through it and still to come out the other end kind of thing. So yeah. I think, we're okay. We'll be okay.
How is things on your end? Are you were feeling quite ill?
Yeah, I had what I thought might be coronavirus.
From when you told me what the symptoms, I was like, oh no, the Rona.
She got the Rona. I had pretty much. So I wasn't going to initially test myself, but when you look at the guidelines, they're like, if you've got loss of smell or taste, which I did, please get tested, even if this is your only symptom. Because I didn't have a fever. And I was coughing like very intermittently, but not a continuous one. So I was like, I was a bit like, should I? But then I thought, I'm going to be a good citizen and sort of follow the advice. So I did. And oh my God, I got a test, and I'd never had to test myself before. Have you tested yours? Oh my God.
No, I haven't.
It's so I had a home delivered one, and you basically have a swab, and it's all very they got really clear instructions. Like, honestly, well done to the people like sending out the test. It was actually a really well slick oil machine, I had to say.
Oh, cool.
But you get a wee swab, and you got to like get the back of your throat and kind of up your nose a bit. And you got to swab it with the same swab. And I thought the nose would be the one that would freak me out. But actually, you've got to reach your tonsils. You've got to swab your tonsils. And
woof,
it mega makes you gag. Because it's like hitting the back of your throat. And all I was doing is sticking this thing. And I was like,
oh my God.
It was hideous. And then I just stick it up my nose and then send it off. So luckily it was negative, which is great. But I did just have a very intense virus. And on top of that, I was really burned out from work. I've been working flat out, and I'm the only person in my team. And I have lots of creative projects as well I'm trying to balance on the side. So it was just a perfect recipe for burnout / nasty virus. And
did you take some time off?
No.
Oh, Annabelle, what? You can't work through a virus?
Well, there's no one else to
I know.
There's no one else. But we have now hired a new person who's starting at the beginning of November. So that will help, I'm sure, after we've trained her up a bit. But do you know what, even this last like few days, I took half a day off. I told my sort of one up from me, and I was just like, I'm great because she can be really open with her, and I was just like, I really just need to stop for half a day. And she was like, that's totally fine. So I just did. So that was something, but it's not enough to like
something. Yeah, oh my God, you just like full of some sort of virus, just like tapping away on your work computer. Oh, makes me so sad.
I know. So anyway, it's gonna get there. I can feel it with this new person starting, and winter season is the worst time for my work. So not worst, busiest. So I kind of, I know it will eventually ease off, but oh my God, I really do need a holiday. I want to go on holiday now, Cara.
Yeah, God, from the sounds of things, you deserve one.
Yes, I want a spa holiday.
Yeah, we spoke about going to a spa recently. We were talking about like massages and like, I was like, can we just find a place, even if we could just find like an Airbnb that has a hot tub?
Yeah.
I would be Oh, but the thing is, like, Airbnbs are all full right now, full and expensive, because everyone's like staycation.
Yeah, they're like,
So,
let's at least make it fun with a freaking
yeah.
hot tub. I thought you were gonna say, we were just gonna like make our own hot tub in the back, or
Oh my god, that would be
some sort of weird hillbilly type protest.
Unfortunately, at our bath, we haven't attempted like fun couples bath here
Yeah.
because it's like really skinny looking, the bath, and I feel like fitting two human beings in it would be like just not a good. I can't think of how to explain it. But like I feel like there would be a lot of cramming and jamming, and that doesn't feel relaxing to me.
It would become very stressful, and also when you think of how little water you'd have to put in the bath, otherwise,
Exactly.
you're like,
and I would just
"Oh."
we thought about a while ago. You probably remember these pictures. A while ago, me and one of our friends, Haley, before she went back to Canada, we did a little staycation in a hotel specifically because I didn't have a bath in my flat, and we were like, let's go and like have a relaxing bath time. So we found a hotel with a bath in the room. It was really, really beautiful, and we had like 2 or 3 baths each with like stuff from Lush, and we had a photo shoot of us in the bath. Me and Hannah have thought about going back there because she's going to take some time off soon as well, because much like you, she's been working flat out. But like it just feels like such a weird time to go to a hotel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we've technically booked ourselves a little Christmas kind of one night hotel stay because we were going to head over to see Christian's mum in Germany, and we were going to spend like a very nice hotel spa in Munich for one night. But now it's like more and more we're like, I think it might just be best just to stay. Because it is really stressful, obviously, traveling.
Totally.
And the rules still are changing, and fair enough. But yeah, I do want some pampering.
Pampering would be great. I want pampered.
Want a massage real bad.
Yeah, a massage and just some nice warm. I would love to go to like right now an onsen would be amazing. If I could just like snap my fingers and go to a Japanese onsen, that would be so nice. Speaking of Japan,
Yeah.
I must have told you about the time that I had to get a swab in Japan, right?
Oh, I don't know if you did.
It reminded me of it
explain.
when you said about the home swab that you had to do.
Yeah.
I went to work and I had a big old cough, as I so often do.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you this.
I think I remember.
And I went to the doctor and he didn't speak much English, so he just pulled out this long swab and was just like, it just like came at me with it, and it did. He didn't go through my, like, he didn't go into my mouth and my nose, but he went so far back in my nose. Like, it was so sore. Like, I don't know how far back you had to go with the home test one that you did.
Not as
but, like,
far back as that.
oh my god, it was so long, and I swear by the time that he had gotten as far back as he needed to, his like fingers were at my nose.
Ew.
Like, it was so far in there. It was horrible.
Oh my god, I would freak out. I'd be like, stop touching my brain.
I did freak out because he like came at me with it, and I jolted because I was like, where's that going? Is that my mouth? What's happening? And then there was a nurse in the room, and she like put her hand in the back of my head and then held my hand with her hand, and he just went in there, and I literally just went, I was like, ah! Like that was the noise I made until it came back out of my nose again. It was so sore.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, luckily with the COVID testing, they say only put it back until you feel a bit of resistance, which is fine. That's fine. That's before it gets to that point where it must really hurt.
Before it touches your brain.
Yeah. How have you been?
You know, I took our own advice, the advice I give out to everyone else, of getting help when you need it, and I finally took that advice, and after many years of struggling with my mental health, I went and got some medication. But unfortunately, as you well know, Annabelle, when you start an antidepressant medication, there are side effects.
There are.
And everybody warns you, the doctor will warn you about the mental side effects, which typically is that your mood will get worse before it levels out and then improves, but they don't warn you about the physical side effects.
They just generally like, you may experience side effects, and you're like, great, cool.
Yeah, there might be some side effects, and usually when I get new medication, I don't actually read the sort of pamphlet that comes with it, because I'm like, usually when you get any medication, it always says like, oh, some of the side effects could be these things. It's because they've, tested a large amount of people, and almost always like the side effects can be like you've broken a broken leg or death, and it's like because one person happened to break their leg on that medication.
Jeff, why?
Jeff, come on, why did you have to break your leg and die? You've ruined this whole experiment. But with this one, I thought probably best to take a look. And I've never seen a list so long for side effects. They broke it into 3 sections, into common, uncommon, and rare. And I basically just like ticked down all of the common side effects. Yeah. I've been having, I've been dizzy, I've been queasy, I've not been able to eat or sleep. Food been tasting weird. I've had a dry throat, like all of it.
And it's like when even like if something as big as your sleep is affected, then that just piles on even more side effects because of the sleep. Exactly. Let alone the pills. Yeah.
And then like you feel so counterproductive because you're like, I feel so terrible. Let me take another one tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to take another one. It's just going to make this worse. But I am holding out because I know the thing is, something that I really struggled with when I was like at feeling my worst was my imposter syndrome just like broke through and was like the reason you feel so bad, the reason you're getting so many side effects is because you don't actually have depression and you shouldn't be taking these pills. That was what my brain was telling me, which obviously is so stupid because I'm looking at the side effects list that says like you will feel these things, and I'm like, no, it's punishment because, somehow.
So I'm being smited.
I'm being smited for lying about depression. But yes, the physical side effects are waning. The mental side effects are piling on, but it's been just over a week, and they say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and things will calm, and then things will get better. So
yeah,
I'm just waiting it out.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, it's so counterintuitive. Because we were just chatting before we started, and I have been on and off like antidepressants since my early 20s, and it wasn't until my only maybe 1.5 years ago that I stuck with an antidepressant, and I have stayed on it, and my life has changed dramatically because of it. So it took so many attempts, so many like, oh my God, I hate this, I'm giving up. And it's so counterintuitive because you're like, am I poisoning myself? Like, what if this is making me like iller? And it's just, you got to put so much faith in not only like medicine but yourself, and be like, there's a reason I have to stay on this, and you can't see the benefits yet, so it's all pure faith based.
It's such a strange, it really is counterintuitive. It's like you have to go through this trial to like, why would you, I mean, I'm sure this is not intentional, but like inventing a medicine to make you feel better, that makes you feel worse first, it's honestly insane. And then, like you say, the trust that you need to put into yourself and medicine and medical professionals, like to just wait it out is a lot. It's a lot to ask someone to do. Yeah,
especially if you're in that bad state anyway to begin with. Yeah, so it's like, really, I just like think of all the people who have probably gone through something very similar and maybe are still struggling to, stay on medication or whatever. And I just know from like my experiences and, other people's experiences who have stuck with it, that it really has made things so much better. And, I was such a skeptic when I first started, because I was like, I thought they were going to make me go numb. And actually, when I first started, they did make me feel quite numb. I actually did feel a bit like the mental side of things, once the physical calmed down, I actually started to feel like a robot. And I was like, well, that's no good. And again, it just took that bit of time to level it out. And now it's like, no, I actually do feel things, but
Yeah.
I don't go into like complete spiral death mode, which is
which would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very lucky because I do know quite a lot. Well, lucky in a sense, it's not good that a lot of people I know are struggling with their mental health, but for me in this moment, I'm very lucky that I know a lot of people who have done this journey before me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are on medication and who swear by it and things like that, because I had the same thing. I think everybody before they start medication get that fear of like, I'm just going to be like this happiness a robot, or
Totally.
like I'm just gonna go numb or whatever. I'm not gonna know when things are making me upset and stuff like that. But I heard someone sort of tell me kind of more what it is like, or what I can expect, and they were saying that like you still get sad, you still have sad days. It doesn't get rid of the sadness, it just makes the sadness way easier to cope with, and
absolutely.
it doesn't feel all consuming anymore.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
that was great. I'm glad we just like blurt that out there.
I know.
Welcome to
Necessary.
Breakfast Food, everybody.
The comedy podcast.
The comedy weekly comedy podcast.
Oh my god, here he comes. Oh, sorry. Broccoli's woken up, and I looked over into the corner, and he was just like strutting towards me like a complete Ned. He's
Brock.
He'll be up. He's sitting staring at me. Anyway, shall we get started on our breakfast bugle?
Yeah. Let's do that. I have a couple, maybe slightly, they're kind of slightly related to the theme we're talking about this week in our waffle.
I only have one also, and it is also related.
Oh, it's exciting. Should we mention our theme then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we obviously, hey, it's nearly Halloween, and we did promise we would do more ghost stories. So here we are.
Halloween.
Because we love the spooky time.
Yeah.
Yes, all about it. I love Halloween. I've been holding off buying sort of sweets for the children.
I know.
And a pumpkin. I'm going to do it because I think the street people will come anyway. I'll just leave them outside. But yeah.
See, because we talked about this in the last one, and I told this wonderful big fantasy of me buying a bunch of really huge chocolate bars and giving them out to people. But then I realised that like we can't be handing things to people. And then me and Hannah thought, we'll just leave them outside in a bowl. But then as soon as one person touches things in the bowl, the whole bowl is contaminated.
Yeah, I'm gonna
you know
get
what I mean? So,
like a wee. Sorry, I'm just watching Broccoli in the background, just totally
go and
trashing the place.
Yeah, I know. Hold on.
Okay. Where were we? Yes, I'm gonna make like little goodie bags up.
Yeah.
And just like have them kind of in a little crate, and then just be like, have a wee pumpkin beside it. And a wee sign or something being like, help yourself.
Touch one.
Yeah. And I might it's going to be so cold, but I was thinking maybe we could crank the window a little open, because luckily we're on the ground floor and we can see people come in, and if they have like a wee piece or a whatever, they can say it outside the window, and I'll be like, okay, bye kids. That's my thinking.
Use your hand sanitizer.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I should put some like little pumpy hand sanitizer outside.
That's cute. I'm glad you're trying. We got some sweets to give. There's like two boys that live across the road from us, so we've got some sweets to make up bags for them. But yeah, I don't think we can do anything else. We do have pumpkins, and they're already going off. I don't know why we bought them so early.
Love
so
it.
we're gonna have to get carving probably tonight, actually.
Oh god. Yeah, I've kind of held out a bit on the pumpkin front because of that reason, because I could easily get one. I mean, maybe now will be fine. I think this is probably a good time because it's a week before Halloween. Yeah.
That's probably fine.
It's fine.
Get rid of all the insides and they'll last.
It will. Yeah, I just think I'm just like aware, like if I was a kid and Halloween was cancelled, I would be so sad.
I know.
And I'm like, I can't do it. The kids, man. It's all about
Aww.
the kids. So, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Ghosts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
ghosts and ghoulies. Ghosts
and
and long-legged beasties.
Oh my God. You brought back some vivid memories there.
Yes. Of the ghost story in our old work.
Oh God, I totally had a flashback. That was like retro. So, okay, I have two little stories which I found quite amusing. The first one is, I just love this title. It's like, Ghost Hunter horrified that Poundland is selling Ouija boards for Halloween. Is that yours too?
That was my breakfast bugle.
It's happened. We've merged.
It's happened. We've finally done it. We're one person.
We can share the story. I mean,
yeah.
Our listeners. I just sort of read a little bit about it and how they're like, because I have so many questions about it, but
yeah, I know.
Obviously they're worried about, selling them like on Poundland for £1. It will encourage the demons to enter everyone's souls and people will kill themselves. I don't know. Small children. Think of the children.
Think of the children.
Yeah. I it's interesting. I just love that there's still this real satanic panic about Ouija boards still
Satanic
to this day.
Panic.
Yeah.
Satanic Panic is a wonderful band name.
Isn't it? And I think it's sort of something I remember even when I was a kid, and if I was into Ouija boards, like adults would be like, oh my God, like don't do them. You're gonna really mentally mess yourself up. And I was like, okay. So there's a bit of wariness there, but
It's I think it's really interesting that even people who are like, oh no, I don't believe in any of that stuff, blah, 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 still have a stigma around Ouija boards, even though they're like, oh no, I don't believe in ghosts, but don't summon one.
Yeah, yeah. It's more like it'll mess you up. You're gonna be like in a some sort of like straitjacket 1940s asylum if you touch the Ouija board. It's so
strange,
interesting. And I was reading that article and they're like, if you end up entering, like the word Zeus comes into the Ouija board, they're like, that's a demon. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm
pretty sure he's a god.
Yeah,
okay.
Me too. I was like, sure. I love it. There's also Zozo.
Oh, I've heard about this. I've heard about this Zozo character. But like, this is the thing. This is one of the things. Is it's like, whenever anyone's like talking about these demons, right? They say things like Zozo and Beep Bop and stuff. Yeah. Like, why is it never just John? You know what I mean?
My name's Beep Bop. Beep
Why
Bop
is it?
the demon.
Beep Bop the demon. Hi everybody, it's me.
I'm your best friend.
I'm arrived to cause some havoc this Halloween. How much did you pay for your Ouija board? £1.
Frickin' bargain.
When I was young, Ouija boards cost 3 legs and a goat. Anyway.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's like, why is the name picked like that's purely just the kind of opposite end of the like letters, and you're just like swinging it back and forth. You're like, yeah, that's the name of the demon.
That's it. It's always that though. It's the same as like when we've talked about ghosts before, and I've been like, it's always these cool Victorian creepy ghosts. It's never like some kid from the 90s who died. You know what I mean?
I know. Maybe there's a limbo period. Yeah, maybe you just gotta wait a bit, and then you get a chance to do some haunting.
Yes, maybe you're right. Maybe there is.
You gotta earn your haunting badge, like brownies.
Yeah. Oh, like Casper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, all makes sense now.
It all makes the pantheon. It's all coming together. That's why Zeus is in the Ouija board.
Zeus. Oh my God. Yeah, he's been waiting a long time. I don't know. I find.
How did you get back in here?
Hey,
Sorry,
Brox. He's a demon. He can do it.
Yeah. Genuinely, he is a demon. We make this joke all the time.
Oh God, we call our cat a demon too sometimes. So, yeah. There's something about them.
There's something about them.
What was I gonna say? I can't remember now. Oh, have you ever used a Ouija board?
I haven't. I've never actually seen one in real life.
Oh my God.
None of my friends ever had a Ouija board. But like I know how they work.
Yeah.
Have you?
I think when I was a kid, we kind of made a fashioned one out of like bits of paper, like it wasn't a real one.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, trying to do it, but it was so obvious that there was someone just pushing it.
Well, that's the thing.
And then I used one again for the film that I just did, and that was
of course.
very amusing. But that was like obviously all choreographed and really fun because there was like, I don't want to give it away, but it's really obvious. There's like a magnet underneath like a glass, and it starts to move. Check it out. It's now on Amazon Prime. Okay.
Yeah, it's been doing so well.
It's been doing great. Yeah.
Even
Death of a
today,
vlogger.
I saw someone do a little tweet about it.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. If you want some spooky Halloween fun, check it out.
Yeah.
That's my plug over. Done. I also have one more weird bugle story. Shall I go for it?
Yes.
I just wanted to show you this picture. You've probably seen it because we probably found this from the same website. Have you seen that Amazon was trying to sell coronavirus Halloween masks? Yeah, we did look at the same thing. I won't need to make you look at these pictures, but I'll post them on the Instagram page because they are genuinely horrifying.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
It's not even just pure taste. They genuinely are very, very ugly masks.
Yeah. They're just, these hideous like masks, and that's kind of it really. I just wanted to see your reaction. Even look at them now, I'm like,
why would anyone want that? That's, now that I've seen that, it makes me think that that's what the coronavirus man in the erotic novel.
Oh my God.
That's what he looks like.
He's so sexy.
He's like this big buff green man, but that's what his face looks like.
I'm also kind of thinking, when were you thinking of wearing this mask? It's not like you're going to be having a big old house party or going out to a bar and wearing a fun Halloween mask. Like, what?
Exactly. Like, I would have loved to have gotten dressed up this year, but we're genuinely, like, to do what? Like, I'm going to go round to, me and Hannah are bubbling with two of our friends because we often look after their dog. So we're bubbling together. So we're going to go around there and watch something scary, I guess. But even that, I'm not going to dress up for because I'm just like, no one's going to see it.
Imagine you just had a coronavirus mask. Like, it covers your whole face. It's like a rubber mask. And you're just
It's got like two eye slits and that's it. Like, you can't even drink anything.
So hot, so quickly.
Oh my God, yeah.
And after 1 year, I doubt you're going to use it again. I think,
Yeah. Do you have any Halloween plans this year?
Just sitting here watching the children
potentially
come up and grabbing a sweet and leaving. It's going to be so fun. In a way, I'm like almost relieved because, because Maisie obviously freaks out when the doorbell goes. And she's not been with us. She wasn't with us last Halloween. So I'm like, honestly, I think it was at peak time, every 5 minutes the doorbell was going. There's so many kids coming last year. So maybe they'll be kind of calmer and quieter, not ring the doorbell this year and just take a sweet quietly and leave.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're hanging at the window, then you'll be able to tell them before they arrive. Don't ring the doorbell.
Yeah. So I'm very aware that Maisie's going to have a really intense Halloween night. I think regardless, because even when she hears someone on the street, she's always patrolling and she's like, meh, meh. And I was like, oh, okay. So anyway,
Maisie is just a jogger. Jeez.
I know, she's like a proper sheriff.
You should get her a costume.
I really want to. I was looking at them and I was like, but no one's gonna see it. And
I'll see it. Take a picture of it.
Yeah, there were some really sweet ones. I mean, obviously the obvious one, if I could afford that, I think it was quite expensive, was a Wookiee, not a Wookiee, Ewok costume, because she is an Ewok.
Yeah.
But I saw like ones on Pets at Home, like pumpkin, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
and like
I love the
spider.
one. Yeah, I love the spider one where there's just like extra legs just dangling down.
It's so nice.
Oh,
Yeah, she would
look so
rock.
cute.
She would really rock a costume.
Oh.
Maybe I'll ask the two girls next door because they have on occasion dressed her up in a tutu.
Oh yeah.
And she loves it.
Oh.
So maybe they'll lend us some of their weird costume things we can put on her.
Yeah, whatever for some reason they already have costumes that fit your dog. Which
I
is
know.
weird.
I'm like, were you just waiting for this day?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we waffle?
Let's
Not that we haven't already been waffling a fair amount, but
waffle.
yeah. As we've already said, our weekly waffle is about ghosts. Ghosts of scary things.
Ghosts.
I told you this story already, but I'll tell it on the podcast.
Okay.
I had not a ghostly, well, actually, who knows how it began, but I had a thing happen a couple of nights ago. I was like 2 nights or 3 nights on the meds, and I was like, I'm hallucinating. But I had only just managed to get to sleep, and then I woke up and was like, there was a noise happening, but I couldn't locate where it was coming from, and I thought it was too quiet to be the guys upstairs. So I was like, is it guys upstairs? The guys upstairs? Like if it was 2 people upstairs. But I was like, if that was the case, then the people upstairs would have gone and like told them to shut up by now. But sometimes we can hear the baby 2 floors up crying.
Oh no.
So I was like, it sounded like someone watching a YouTube video on their phone or watching like a something or other. Anyway, and the noise kept happening, and I kept trying to just like block it out because it only happened when I closed my eyes.
No.
So like I'd open my eyes to like listen harder, like you know when you're driving and you're like, wait, I'm lost, and you turn the music down so that you can look better. I was doing that. I was like opening my eyes and being like really, really listening, and I wouldn't hear anything. I'd be like, right. When I closed my eyes again, then I'd just hear like and I was like, what the fuck? And every time I opened my eyes it would stop. It was horrible. It went on for so long. And then I was like, it must be the guys upstairs because this is like, it's too constant for it to be the guys, 2 floors up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the like realization that it wasn't upstairs, it was in the house. The noise is coming from my house. And I was like, oh no.
No.
And I was like, again, I felt so queasy and weird and everything, and I was like, am I just hallucinating all of this? Is this just part of the medication? And I was like, I can't ignore it anymore because now I was hearing this weird like high-pitched noise, and now I could hear it with my eyes closed or open, and I was like, right, okay. So I got up out of bed and I like opened the bedroom door up, and I just stood in the bedroom doorway because I was terrified to because I could see that there was this like faint glowing light in my studio.
Yeah.
My studio door was open. There was
Oh my
this,
god,
like,
that would
faint
make me so
glowing-
sick.
I was literally stood there just like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. Because I always jump straight to it's a human, an actual person who's like broken in or whatever. So I was like, there's a person in my studio. And I was like, and then because I was stood at the bedroom door, Hannah obviously woke up and got the fright of her life because I was just stood there. She was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "There's a noise coming from the studio. It's in the house." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, so I had to like sneak over to the studio, and I fully had to like steel myself. I was like, okay. And then I went in, and it was my laptop. Had just started playing this massive like 3-hour compilation of a TikTok compilation video, and it was just like, that's why the noises were so inconsistent because of it was like loads of little videos all in one video, but like my laptop was shut. What was playing it was my was my Cintiq, my like drawing tablet screen was playing the video, but the laptop was closed.
But how did it do it?
I don't know.
That's freaky. Like, what?
I don't know.
What?
The only like explanation that I've managed to come up with is maybe my laptop like rebooted through the night.
Yeah.
And then when it reloaded everything, it loaded up YouTube and it just started playing it because that was a tab that I had open. But whenever my laptop reloads itself, it locks me out again. I have to sign back in again. It doesn't just start.
Yeah.
So, like...
Ghosts.
I don't know.
It's just a ghost. Yep. There we go.
Definitely goes. Hannah was like, oh, maybe someone else was watching something and cast it to your laptop by mistake.
Can you imagine?
I know. At first I was like, is this some sort of horrible prank from the people upstairs? Because I have asked them to be quiet recently. So...
That would be such an intense way of trying to get back at someone by slightly quietly playing something that they might.
I know. Oh, it's horrible, but that doesn't make any sense either because it's in my history. It's in my YouTube, like logged in YouTube history of what I've watched.
Yeah.
So it's not. It wasn't in someone else. Yeah. There's the only explanation that I've come up with that is close to normal is that my laptop rebooted itself. But even then, that doesn't really make sense.
I know, it's just the fact that it was closed and I don't know, that's just strange. And off the back of it, I have a similar story, which I don't know, I might have told you. And when I was back at university, I was sitting in my room watching like a kind of film. Yeah, it was a film on my own. It wasn't a scary film, but it had kind of dark sort of mysterious scenes in it, and I was just sort of sitting there and watching it, and I started to hear, it sounded like it was coming from behind me. It was like and I was like, did I just hear that? And I was like, and then it did it again, and I was like, fuck, that's scary. And I was like, it sounds like Annabelle.
Yeah, it does.
And I was like, no, what is this? And it, honestly, I think for the whole scene, I was having a slight panic. I was in a full cold sweat. And then eventually the noise got louder and louder. And you know what it was? It was just something in the scene. It was just some random thing going on for no reason with no explanation. And I shat my pants, I did.
Yeah, I would have been so terrified if I was that. It
was just casting like a ventriloquist. It was like casting the sound behind me. It was like bouncing off a wall and coming back towards me. And that's what made me feel so like sort of discombobulated. I was just like, where is this coming from? It didn't sound like it was from the computer. Anyway.
Do you ever I get this, not all the time, but often enough that I'm like, every time it happens. It's, you know, when you're like either asleep or just falling asleep and then you start waking up and then the voice inside your dreams sounds like it's in your bedroom.
Yes, I was going to say this. This has happened to me. This happens to me quite a bit more regularly now than it has before.
Ooh.
And it's like really intense, isn't it? And I've had like quite often it's like the sound of a woman. But it's also, I've had like really creepy ass demons sounding like scary voice. I know. And I'm like, oh geez, so I am possessed? Great.
Yeah.
It's that damn Zeus.
Great, wonderful. Zeus again, fuck's sake.
That's that flirtatious, very sexually charged man, Zeus. And yes.
It's beep bop, he's come for me.
Beep bop. Yeah, and I've had it once or twice where it's like a big explosion in your ear and then you wake up, and they say there's actually a term for it, and yeah, it just sounds like there's suddenly like a boom inside your ear and it's like you can almost feel the pressure, and apparently that's just a thing that happens. Okay.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
I've only ever had the one that almost always wakes me up is someone trying to get my attention, and it's usually them saying my name.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a friend or something. The last time I can remember it happening, it was a friend's voice, and it fully sounded like they went Cara in my room. Ooh. And I just like my eyes just like pinged awake, and I was like, what is going on? But sometimes I think it might be me talking, because I've had it before where someone's been like, hey, and I've woken up.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, you know, you can just feel it in your throat that you've been making noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think sometimes I'm the one.
Has Hannah ever said anything? Has she ever heard you speak?
No, but Hannah, number one, is a very heavy sleeper, and number two, she talks in her sleep all the time.
Oh.
So, all the time.
I've had some classic...
She laughs in her sleep, she cries in her sleep.
Oh no, that would creep me.
It's really
creep me out.
Thankfully, most of the time I'm asleep.
Oh god.
Thankfully, most of the time I'm also asleep, but sometimes, like, I'll be awake and she'll just be like...
I have some amazing tales of my previous partner. I mean, I'm not saying who he is, and it's fine. You know who he is, but he used to talk a lot in his sleep when he was like when we were younger in our 20s, and oh my god, the things he would say. The scariest one he ever said was I was quite a light sleeper back then, I still kind of am, but he sat bolt upright. And I woke up because of that. And then he stared over to my mirror on the wall and he was like, there's a man in the mirror.
What the fuck?
I was like, is it Michael Jackson? And oh my gosh, what else did he say? He once started to pose me in a weird position when I was half asleep. And he was like, he sat upright and he was trying to pose my legs. And then he just stared at me blankly, and I woke up and he was like, it's for the photograph. And I was like, okay. I should have taken that as a sign. No, it was fine. But like, honestly, it was so weird, the things that came out of his mouth. That is weird. Yeah, thankfully Hannah's never addressed me. You're good.
And if I ever answer her, she is then like, what? As if I'm the one.
Yeah, he's like, you crazy?
Yeah, like there was one night, I can't remember what she said now. She said something, clear as day at the time, I just can't remember what it was. And I said to her, I was like, I think I just said what, or what do you mean? And then she took a second and she was like, what? And I was like, nothing. And she was like, I'm sleeping. I was like, yeah, okay. I know.
Okay.
All right. But apparently she said, oh fuck.
What was that?
It was literally just on edge. I'm on edge. No. It was literally, it was just broccoli. I forgot he was here.
Did he jump on you?
No. He's been doing this thing where he puts his front legs up on my knee and then stretches out. So he like digs his claws into my leg. I mean, it's usually he's just trying to get my attention, but I forgot he was in here. And then all I felt was like one little like pinprick on my leg.
That's horrible.
I'm gonna go and kick him out.
That's perfect. Well done, broccoli.
I got such a fright. Oh my god.
So where were we? Oh, don't know. God.
Talking in his sleep and things like that.
Talking in his sleep. I have two weirdish stories like that I've experienced, ghost related.
Ew.
That I'd never mentioned in the last one. So I would like to now mention them for everyone. Let's see. So my first story is one summer I was working in a pub. I don't think I've mentioned it. Yeah, it was the same pub where I found that person, those two people having an affair.
I remember that one.
Mm-hmm, it was that same place. And I was opening up one day, and it was before we had opened, but it was quite early in the morning. And anyway, I was behind the bar cleaning, and then I look up, and there, as clear as day, is a figure who again has that kind of like, you know, when you look at something bright and then you close your eyes and it's imprinted in your behind your eyes.
Yeah.
It was like that, but I could see it, and it was like this figure, and it was clearly a man. It was quite tall, and he looked quite bulky, and I was like, okay, again, why am I seeing this thing? It doesn't exist. And I did this thing where I kept closing my eyes and opening it again and closing my eyes and opening it again. And no joke, the thing didn't disappear. Instead, in perfect sync, it just was walking from one side of the bar to the other. And it was just like really steadily just walking and walking. And like it wasn't jumping. So it wasn't like my eyes were like opening up and then it was there again. It was like consistently just plodding across the bar, like in front of me, and then it just kind of faded out by the other end of the wall, and that was it. And that was the only weird. It had a weird vibe to it, that pub, and like the basement, as with most basements, did make me feel very uncomfortable. It was that constant feeling that something's watching you. But yeah, it was freaky, and just so like clear, and he was even wearing a hat. I could see him wearing a hat.
Oh.
Yeah, it was weird, and that's it. That was one.
Interesting. I had something. This is not a ghost story. It was just like a weird, horrible feeling. Where I was at my work back when I still worked at Edinburgh Gin, and I was just like stood behind the bar, doing something, but just paying attention to the thing I was doing, and then one of my colleagues, Jenny, she was also stood there, but I just wasn't paying attention to her, and then out of the blue she was like, "It's crazy how long you can go without feeling like you're being watched." And I was like, "What?" And I looked, and she was like looking over at me, and she was like, "I've been watching you this whole time, and like it's crazy that you've not had the feeling that you're being watched." And I was like, ugh! Like I started like
Jenny!
As soon as she's like I know, I was just like, "Oh, like whatever," but like internally I was like, I feel so creeped out.
Yeah, I feel so violated.
Because as soon as someone says something like that to you, like as soon as someone's like, "Oh, the feeling of being watched," then you feel it. Like, even if you're not being, then you're like, "Okay, now I feel it." And I was just like, spend the rest of the day being like,
It's really funny because it's coming from Jenny, who I know as well, who's like the sweetest, like softly, like kind person, and and to have her just lurk up on you like that and be like, it's just really.
She wasn't even. She was literally just stood. She was in plain sight. I just wasn't noticing her. But yeah, she apparently had just been like staring at me the whole time. It was just what a sentence. Just like in the silence, just like, "It's crazy how long you can go without noticing you're being watched." And I was like, ah!
That is like a horror line film, if any. You could base a whole film around that.
Yeah, you could. Jenny.
I have one more quick story which involves when I worked at Gilmerton Cove. And I think I told one before of like I heard like lots of banging upstairs once when we were all underground, but I forgot to say in Gilmerton Cove there's also a blocked up tunnel, and it's just like rubbled in, so it's all loose rubble, and they now know it goes under the road into another little kind of cavern that you can't get to anymore. Very frustrating. And it only ever happened the once, and I swear it wasn't someone on the tour, because again it was projected really differently. But we were chatting, and then they sat on like kind of in front of me, like to my left a bit, like, and then to my right was the rubble tunnel. And then I started just to like hear while I was talking from inside the tunnel, just like that. And then it would do it again, but it would be like a different rhythm. So it'd be like, but it was always in three, and it lasted for about, I don't think any more than a minute. But it was quite consistent to the point where I was like, "Are you guys hearing this?" And they're like, "Yep, we hear knocking from the tunnel." And I was like, "I swear to God, this never happens. This is really weird." And then only later, after I was watching an excellent episode of Ghost Hunters, which I love, it's so fun, they were like, when you hear knocking in Rules of Three, it's a demon mocking God. And I was like, what? So there's a little demon who is living in the tunnel of Gilmerton Cove.
God.
Yeah, apparently because it's like the rule of three. It's like the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. And apparently by knocking 3 times, you're mocking it. Somehow.
Interesting. Okay.
But I was like, why was it in 3s? And it wasn't a consistent sound. It was like different rhythms, and it lasted for like a minute. Then it stopped and never ever happened again. And I was like, was it someone? But the only way they could knock was on like pure stone, and that doesn't really travel. There's nothing like that. You need wood to knock and make that kind of really intense sound. So anyway, that was really creepy and made me feel a little sick. And every time I had to go down and light candles on my own, I was like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, I almost, in fact, on your recommendation, I almost worked there, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
but I just didn't work out with the other work I was doing at the time. But so I went on the tour, and the woman was like, "Oh yeah, just hang around and look about as much as you want." And she was sort of telling me about how the things work, and how, oh, you're here by yourself and you go into the thing. And again, I'm not really someone who believes in ghosts, but the idea of going down there and there being a real human being who might jump out at me was too strong. I was like, I don't want to come down here by my own and light candles. No.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, even, you're right, even if somehow someone had got in, somehow the thought of going down the stairs and honestly, it was quite a creepy place, and only had one exit, really. Yeah,
I'm gutted that it doesn't have that it's not easier to access, because it really is so cool. I want more people to go and visit it, but it's not inside of the town, so it's like hard to get the people to go and look at it, unfortunately.
I know, it's a really awkward place, and there seems to be no funding they can get, or they have to be a part of something to get like real funding. It seems like very complex, but it's weird. Like, in a way, it's kind of cool because it remains so untouched that it's kind of got that real authentic vibe. It's like probably how Mary King's felt before it was commercialized. So in a way, that's really cool, but it's also a real shame that no one gets to kind of experience it, or they just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So go.
If anyone ever visits Edinburgh and is looking for something to do post pandemic, the Gilmerton Cove is a good one.
Totally. And there's so many amazing weird theories about how and why it was made, and it's all man-made, so it's like someone spent a lot of time making it, and it's just very weird and fantastical.
It is very fantastical. That's why I liked so much about it. I found a story. I was looking for like local stories, and I couldn't really find anything. But there was one that was the Queensberry House, which apparently is somewhere in Edinburgh. Although I've never heard of it before, but it said it was the site of a horrible tragedy. And the first duke that lived there died there, and his daughter suffered a death after she accidentally caught herself on fire.
Well, that's not fun.
I know. And then the second duke who lived there's son was said to be an idiot of the most wretched kind, rabid and gluttonous as a wild animal.
Oh, wow. That was his like obituary. You're like,
I don't know where that came from, but yeah, he was like, hey. But he was locked away in his room, and one day, he was only 10 when this happened, but one day everyone else was at Parliament, and he escaped from his room and captured one of the servant boys and roasted him on the kitchen spit.
I heard this. This is ringing a bell. I've read this somewhere deep in my mind. I remember this story.
Yeah, he was still eating the boy when his dad returned home.
Gross. And he was only 10.
Yeah, he was 10, and he
oh my God.
Grabbed this other servant boy and roasted him in the fire spit and ate him.
Ew! There's so many parts of that story. And I can imagine as well, it's like, old Edinburgh, big fires. It's like they're really massive fireplaces.
Yeah.
Oy.
And like it would have been a proper like hog roast spit, I think, as well.
Oh my God.
Imagine coming home from Parliament. It'd been a great day signing the Treaty of whatever, the Treaty of Union, and then you come home and your 10-year-old son is in the kitchen just eating a human being.
Do we know what happened to him after this?
No, it doesn't say. The only thing it said after that was the young boy is still said to haunt the halls, but it doesn't say anything about the boy who killed that one.
Yeah, like, yeah, what did it? I mean, I don't know. Did they just like lock him up? Did they?
I don't know, because he got out last time.
Yeah, he did. He clearly is a master, a lock picker. Weird and terrifying, and that sort of time period as well. It really, like, the sort of stuff like 1600s. 1700s, well, maybe more 1600s, because it was so pestilent and everyone seemed so mad and rabid because the living conditions were horrid.
I have another fun, it's not really a ghost thing, but it was like, it's a weird phenomenon that I wanted to talk about. It comes around this sort of pestilent time. Apparently the first time it was documented was in the 7th century, but it was most prevalent between the 14th and 17th centuries. It's called dancing mania. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard this, yes,
also
but remind me
called
of
the
this.
dancing plague.
Jesus, okay.
It's like seemingly out of nowhere, someone or a group of people within these time periods in Europe would just start dancing. But they would dance to the point of exhaustion. Like, they would dance to the point that they dropped dead or dropped, unconscious due to exhaustion. But it would encourage, other people would see this and start dancing as well. And like, there are documented incidents of this happening where hundreds of people would all gather all together, like over the period of days, hundreds of people would join and start just like, they just danced. They would just be like dancing and flailing. And there was like one specific town, they were like, right, the only way to cure this is to give them actual music to dance to.
Okay.
So they built them a stage and hired like a band.
Morbid.
So they built this stage and hired a band, and everyone was like dancing on the stage, and the band was playing, and people were still dropping dead or dropping unconscious. And eventually they were like, right, that didn't work. So they banned dancing altogether. They were like, no dancing. No one's allowed to dance.
Oh my God! And this is how the story of Footloose started.
And then Footloose, yeah.
What?
But there's
okay, carry on, sorry.
So many instances of it. There's like instances in Germany, and like it's spreading from Germany through the rest of Europe.
That's mad. Was it ever like found out what it could be? Like,
No, that's the thing.
Was there something like pestilent involved, like some weird sort of parasite that
we don't know,
or was it purely psychological? Wow.
It's like, it says the earliest known outbreak of dancing mania was in the 7th century, and it was a group of 18 peasants that began singing and dancing around a church, disturbing a Christmas Eve service.
Oh no. But
there's like loads and loads and loads since then. And dancing mania appears to have completely died out by the mid-17th century. But the one that happened before that one was hundreds and hundreds of people.
Oh
just
my
like dancing.
God. It's like, I feel like it's something along the lines of your life is so brutal and also somehow so boring at the same time. And there's a combination, and it just like breaks. And I think there's something about like that fascinates me about that group, like herd mentality thing where I find it more fascinating than a demon possessed them,
Yeah, it's for sure just like seeing everybody else doing it and being like, yeah, okay.
Or it's like, I'm afflicted too. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's the power of suggestion is
right. There's another one I saw. It was much similar, but it was laughing.
Okay.
And it started in a school. It was like these kids in a school who just decided to start laughing. And then like it spread to the point that they had to close all the schools in the area because all of the children were like, like all of the children were just like dying laughing for hours.
That's so creepy.
They were like sent everybody home, and they were like, stop it, get out of here. Stop laughing.
Snap out of it, doctor.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so creepy. Like imagine you experience that, like if you're someone that's unaffected or maybe a teacher, and you just have people like laughing, and I'm guessing it's like it would be like really forced fake laughter as well.
It would have been to start with, but I've done this before. We used to do this in uni all the time. Basically, we would, as like if we had gone through a day of particularly emotionally exhausting lectures or whatever, we would all lie on the floor and then just start fake laughing, because eventually it will make you actually laugh. Eventually your body will just make you laugh, and then because everyone else is laughing, you keep laughing, and you end up like rolling around laughing. So that one I completely understand, like ending up going off the rails.
Yeah. Oh man, it's something so similar with the dancing as well. I love it. It's so fascinating. I'm like, is there anything that would ever happen again in today's time? I doubt it. It's like it has to have that real like pre-internet, like you have to have like a condensed community, I feel, or at least it spreads from one to the other without, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know.
I feel like the dancing one could happen again, but it would be seen as like a flash mob. It has like a name now. Do you know what I mean?
It's TikTok.
Because it has, it's TikTok. Because it has social parameters now, I don't think it would get out of hand like it did. Whereas back then it didn't have social parameters. It was just like, this thing is happening. Oh God! Whereas now it's like, this thing is happening, and then when the Beats pill runs out of batteries, we'll all stop.
Yeah. We'll all get hungry eventually and just really crave some nachos.
Apparently, the first woman who started it in one of them, she would stop very briefly to eat, and then she would collapse at night to sleep, and then just keep going. She went for days.
Wow. Well, God, that's fascinating.
I know.
Good story.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yes.
That's all my ghosties, my ghosting ghoulies.
Me too. So I guess it's time for our serving suggestion. Shall I go for it first?
Yes,
Mine's just
please.
really like basic and simple, but something that has been pleasing me a lot in the last 2 weeks. So I was on Pets at Home website, and I thought, along with something for Maisie and the cat Dima, I thought, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some bird feed for the birds. And it was like, I thought it was like, just going to be, I didn't look at the size, because I thought it was going to just be like, I don't know, like a normal pack of bird seed. And it was like £4. And I was like, that seems kind of what they would charge at Pets at Home. I'll put that in the bag. And no joke, it came like delivered the next day, and it was a kilogram bag of birdseed, and it was huge and so heavy. And anyway, now I have all the birdseed for all the winter, and it's been such a delight. I put it out every like morning when I take Maisie out in the mornings, and I've had so many like little birdies coming by. The squirrels, I've had 2 squirrels that come regularly and have a little nibble, and I'm like, oh, I love you. Then there's like the insane magpies who decide they're gonna fit in this giant birdhouse. Even them, I'm like, all right, you're cool, I like you.
Come on in.
And it's just it's so innocent and so sweet, and I feel like an old lady now. I'm just like getting such joy from watching the birds and the squirrels throughout the day, like getting on with their thing. It is so nice though. It is.
We also have 2 bird feeders. I got them. They stick to the window and they're see-through because I wanted them so Brockley could have a look, although he just like whacks the window whenever he sees anything and says. But we get like little coal tits come in, and we've had squirrels come over and stuff like that, and it's so nice. I just love it.
Yeah, you feel like slightly like a Disney princess.
Yeah, it's so nice. We've got a couple of squirrels that we've named in the back garden.
Cute.
A couple cats that come by that we've named. We've not named any of the birds, but every now and again we'll just get like 5 coal tits that will all just like one by one come over and grab a seed and run away again. There was a squirrel that came by recently with a nut, and she came into our garden and lifted the leaf off of a weed and put the nut underneath and ran off. It was so cute.
Witness.
It was so cute.
I love it. Yeah.
We also saw a cat come by with a full washed drumstick, raw chicken drumstick in his mouth. We were like, what the hell? Where did you get that from? So many questions.
Yeah, I know. The only thing I think of is like, like the classic like cartoons where they put a pie out on the windowsill to cool down. It's like a chicken drumstick. Just lying
I was like, maybe someone was like getting ready to have a barbecue and he just went and stole this massive chicken drumstick. It was quite wonderful.
Do you have a serving suggestion this week?
Yeah, I do. I had a really hard time thinking of one because it has been just a bummer of a week. But me and Hannah just finished. She's watched this before, but I just watched it for the first time. Have you ever watched The Good Place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched it for the first time, and I have many different thoughts and feelings on it, actually. Maybe we'll talk about it off mic so that there's no spoilers, but there was quite a lot about it that was really enjoyable, and it's just like easy watching. You get really invested in the people, and it's like 4 seasons and it's all out obviously already, so you can just binge the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth giving a watch. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. It was just, as you say, just really like switch offy, light. I could just sit there and be like, I know what's going on, and that's totally cool. And it was like, I think for me, it was like the perfect number of seasons they had. They didn't try and, because I think by the fourth season it had really perhaps stretched a little bit, and you're like,
there was definitely some points where I was like, we don't know if we needed to visit these stories, but they'd been contracted for 4 seasons. I understand.
I get it. No, it's fair.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to it for sure, but overall it was very enjoyable. Kristen Bell is just great. She's a great actress.
Yeah, she's cool.
And a lot of the other ones in there as well are really amazing. The woman that plays Janet is,
oh my god, yeah, she's my favourite.
So good. She's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's easy watching. I'm very much in like a place where new content is difficult for me to like get into, because I feel like I just need some safe things right now. So it took ages for me to start watching The Good Place. But as soon as we started, I was like, yep, let's watch it. Let's watch the whole thing.
Sweet. I think we're doing that now with Grey's Anatomy. Which I had never watched.
Oh my god, the whole thing.
Yeah, so we
There's
just
so
started.
much of it.
I'm so happy. I'm like, this will take me up till, well, I mean, it probably won't take that long, but it'll at least be a winter thing. I think there's like 15 seasons or something insane.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a fair chunk of it, but it was always one of those things that like an ex would be watching whilst I was with them, so I would catch it, or like a friend would be watching whilst I was there, so I'd see it. But I've never sat down and watched them. But I, via proxy, I've seen a lot of episodes.
Love it. Yeah, this is my total first foray into it. I've totally avoided it the whole time, which is kind of crazy. So now I'm seeing it just for the first time, and it's fun. I mean, it's amazing. Like the first episodes, like back in 2005. Already when you watch them, you're like, Jesus Christ, you can't say this stuff anymore. It's amazing. I mean, that's 15 years ago, and it's so different now. I was like, yep, this is bordering on very inappropriate.
Yeah, we've been rewatching some Simpsons episodes, just because Hannah used to love The Simpsons, and it's on Disney Plus, and I was like, oh, whatever, like I'll get Disney Plus for a little bit and we'll binge some Simpsons. But like, I can't. We've had to stop. Because number one, after like season 9 or something, the episodes just start getting ridiculous. And number two, it's just so racist and sexist and misogynistic and just all of the bad things, you know. And it's just like,
yeah, it's like once you've seen that, you kind of can't go back to watching it. Like, yeah, it's
just too much. It's like, yeah, very homophobic, very right wing. A lot of the things, and then like. Because I know that quite recently there was the fact that the person who voices Apu was no longer voicing Apu because he's white and Apu is not white. And people, I remember at the time seeing loads of people being like, "Oh, PC culture has gone too far. There was nothing racist about this man voicing Apu." And then you watch it and you're like, "This it's the most racist."
And even
it's
just
so horribly racist. But it's like,
I don't find it funny.
Yeah, it's not funny, and it's the difference between caricature and racism, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you need to think, where's the joke coming from? Is it coming from a harmful stereotype? Because if it is, then all you're doing is perpetrating that stereotype. You're not adding any comedy to anything. You're just telling people it's okay to keep this stereotype around when it actually really, really isn't. So we tried, I think because I was like, I can't watch anything new. We tried to watch The Simpsons again last night, and we were just like, okay, well, I guess that's definitely that. That's definitely that. Well, I'm going to put that one to rest. So yeah, I understand you're going back and seeing some things in Grey's Anatomy and being like, woo, okay.
Very funny. I have one more recommendation that it's really, I've really enjoyed it, but it has only just been cancelled by Netflix, and they only did one series. So it's annoying how it ends, but it's called Teenage Bounty Hunters. Have you come across it?
No.
I find it so funny, but it's really satirical. It's about two very Christian Republican teenagers,
Okay.
and they live in Georgia, and you know their parents, very wealthy, and they go to like a very wealthy school and stuff, and it parodies and plays on the kind of Republican elite, and it challenges like the stereotypes in lots of it. They get challenged, you know, they grow, they learn, blah blah blah. But they're also like the two actresses who play their two sisters. They're so watchable. They're so good. They just like completely capture you, and you can't help but root for them. Like they're really like likable people, and yeah, it just deals with like a whole bunch of stuff and issues. And I think it really offended a lot of Republicans who couldn't see it as satire, and they were like, "This isn't what we do." But it was a joy to like watch it, and I am sad that it's been cancelled along with Glow. God damn it. I loved Glow.
I never watched it, but I think it is one of those ones that if I were to get round to watching it, I would enjoy.
Yeah. It was just very, very fun and very encouraging just to watch a mass female ensemble like just doing their thing, and I was like really invested in all the characters. So
something that we've been watching, it's been taking me a while. I'm like dipping in and out of it because it can be quite heavy watching, but something we've been watching that has been a joy to watch because of the cast is Pose. Have you seen Pose?
Oh yeah, I've only watched the first few episodes, so yeah.
Same so far, because I keep being like, oh, we'll come back to it. I need to be in a very specific, because it's like a roller coaster. I feel so many emotions every episode, because I love the ballroom scenes and I love the outfits, and there's so many heartbreaking moments and so many joyful moments, you know. But the cast is so wonderful and diverse. It's so worth watching, and the storyline it's worth watching for all of it. But the cast especially, there's some really incredible cast members in that show.
Yeah, and it's retro, which I love as well.
Yeah, it's nice. The costumes, the outfits are always amazing. There's this one character, this is no spoilers, but there's this one character called Ricky who his dress sense is just, I love it. So whatever it is, he's got this jacket that he just always wears. It's just like his normal jacket, and I'm like, I want that jacket so bad.
I kind of want to live back in the 80s. Sort of. Or was it early 90s it's set? Anyway, I'm not sure now.
I think it's 80s.
80s.
Yeah, I think it must be 80s. But whenever I think about, the caveat is I would love to live in other time frames if I could take the more progressive points of now and put them back there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. It's you can't. Yeah, it's never like the grass is never green on the other side, even though I like the certain aspects of it. But you're right, even just generally,
have to bring the fashion back. Bring the fashion back,
which we can do. We can just do that.
Fashion is cyclical.
It is, and it's all yours. You make it. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I feel like we had a really good chat today.
We really did. Which probably for the best, because I think if that's still something that you feel like doing, we're gonna take a little break. I know it's so rude of us to say that after we took 2 weeks off.
I know.
Anyway, but
I know.
But yeah, life is absolutely hectic. Annabelle's working non-stop. I feel like I'm gonna explode.
No.
And I think we're gonna just take a little break over the next little sort of festive period, and then come back bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Totally. Raring
next
to
year,
go.
I think.
Yeah, I'm up for a wee Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you are, I think that would be quite fun. But yeah, I think it's going to be good for us just to kind of take a step back, just have a wee breather, and I want to come back with like refreshness and all that jazz. Yeah.
I would love to be able to come back and record in the same room again.
That would be nice.
Oh my god, that would be so nice. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, take a little break. We'll come back for a Christmas special. Maybe we'll come back for a New Year. We'll see. And then come back in 2021 with vigor.
Yes, with much vigor and much life. And you know what? I'm still going to post some weird stuff to our social channels because sometimes that's just what's needed. Yes. Cool.
All right. That's everything.
That's everything.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy your breakfast.